Hello and welcome to Export Digest, your #1 program that periscopes Nigeria's non-oil sector. Here we bring you information that helps you see economic possibilities in non-oil export, a sector we strongly believe is Nigeria's alternative source of foreign exchange earnings. On Export Digest, we highlight several opportunities and explore strategies to exploit these opportunities as we seek to identify and profile solutions to challenges in the sector. Our goal is to enable practitioners and policymakers improve on their respective roles as it relates to export business. My name is Mayoko Akoterabo.
My name is Ken Okauha, the President of the National Association of Nigerian Traders, NANS.
I am Obinaya C. Urwapa, Personal Development Trainer, Public Affairs Analyst and an entrepreneur.
Keep watching
Export Digest.
Export Digest.
Don't change it out.
Export Digest brings you rich information on export prospects, activities and events presented in 3 segments, which are the focus of the day, spotlight and trade info segments. From the beginning of this quarter and over the past few episodes, we have looked at the services export sector and presented it as a goldmine that it is. We have also highlighted some of the services you can venture profitably into. Today, we will be treating another services export value chain, an industry that lives with us but which we sometimes maybe ignore, undermine or just unaware of the quantum of economic contribution it could bring. It is none other than the fashion design industry. Let us join Femi Boyede, a certified international trade professional, as we look at the gold mine in exporting Nigeria's fashion industry.
When you go to our trade support institutions, for a long time, the Nigeria Export Promotion Council had actually been assisting Nigerian exporters to go to as far as Japan, where we had the Osaka Fashion Fair. And I remember way back in 1990, a Nigerian lady actually won the best design in the Osaka Fashion Fair in the year 1990. Wow, that's 27 years ago, that. And that time, Nigeria's fashion industry was not as vibrant as it is today. We're going to look at the fashion designing industry as an exportable service. Again, remember that services are intangible. So I'm not talking about the clothes, I'm not talking about the garment industry. I'm talking about fashion designing as a services export. And it's so easy to understand it when you understand that there are world-established service providers, great investors in the services sector in the world, whose only focus is cutting the clothes to fit the design. So you have the cutting services. There are people who do no other thing than just design how the, what you are putting on will look like. And of course, you know, especially the women, pardon me for that, but the truth is there are women who are happy to wear 3 different dresses in a 24-hour time frame and who don't want the design that they have worn to ever be worn by another person. And so designing is going to continue to be a very big component of the fashion industry. There are people whose only service is whipping. There are people whose only service is embroidery. There are those whose only service is actually fixing on the buttons, the pockets and what have you. And so the fashion industry provides a large-scale example of trade in services. Why is it so important to Nigeria? Well, this is something that viewers of ExportDigest can identify with. You will notice that about 2 months ago, we did most of our recordings out of Canada. And during that period, I was wearing some adire, some batik top. The essence was to just feel free in summer. But believe me, the kinds of feedback that we got from the Canadian market for Nigeria's adire tops and beach wear, what we used to call in those days knickerbocker, was so overwhelming that we had no choice than to actually sit with a distributor of African fashion. And guess what? The issue of services actually came up because he actually brought out a kind of danshiki looking what do you call it, top that was designed in the Ghanaian concept, and that a school in Toronto wanted him to supply 2,000 units of that. But by the time they say you should bring 10 pieces as sample, by the time he took the sample to them, there were not any two of the 10 pieces actually matched in terms of finishing, in terms of sizing, in terms of sewing. Now you understand that services is actually the nitty-gritty of finishing. It's actually that component that allows you to produce even without machine, even if it is handmade, that you are so careful in producing 50 adire tops that match in the uniformity of their quality. We look at the fashion designing industry and believe that there are so many people out there. In those days, we used to call them tailors. It's also part of innovation, which is a component of services export, is innovation that now makes them to be known as fashion designers. And we believe that we do have our own Guccis in Nigeria who can hold their own with the best in the world of services, especially in the fashion industry.
Inexhaustible are the opportunities that abound in the Nigerian fashion industry. You just need to appraise how this industry has thrived in Africa and particularly Nigeria to appreciate the benefits hidden in there. You will recall that we experienced a never-seen-before boom in the fashion industry when former President Olusegun Obasanjo promoted the local content policy in this industry. He himself dazzled in these attires, and as we saw, public officials showcased our Ankara prints. Till now, it is a norm to find public officials brandishing made in Nigerian outfits. It is more interesting that organizations where before now you will find members of staff in suits and Western-style dresses, the stories are changing. In fact, there are dedicated days now for staffers of most banks to wear Nigerian attires. You even see heads of corporate organizations flaunt these traditional wears in styles that reflect the trend. The fact is, more than ever before, people are proud to wear Nigerian outfits in corporate environments and to public events. This has helped the Nigerian fashion industry gain global attention, so much so that many businesses abroad seek partnership with players in this industry and now order the expertise and services of those in the fashion design industry value chain.
For the avid followers of the late musical icon Fela Anikulapo Kuti, you will remember that he never wore suit or shirt and trouser. He had a specific design. It's in the same way that the youth of nowadays have also developed their own taste, developed their own design. So you have people, Nigerian youths, or African youths who actually opt for t-shirts with a direct concept, with batik concept. They have people who actually, what do you call it now, who fix the design onto already made t-shirts and bring out unique concepts out of it. These are things that are now very, very modern, very chic, very, very in fashion, in vogue, and what activities that can actually be further developed as services exports.
If you're just joining us, the program is Export Digest, and our focus today is exploring the gold mine that lies in exporting Nigerian fashion industry. Let us bring you a practical example to drive home the point.
Export Digest will bring you another practical example today of a young man who we met a few years ago, and I jocularly call him Taylor. Even though I know that he is one of those who has requisite education and experience that can be a rallying point. And of course, why not? So many other entrepreneurs can come on Export Digest to showcase their skills and services as we continue along to build your interest in making mega bucks out of services trade and services export. We believe that we do have our own Gucci's in Nigeria who can hold their own with the best in the world of services, especially in the fashion industry.
My name is Chibuzo Okafor John Paul. I read economics in school. After my youth service, I have to go into this because there is no job. Because I have flair for fashion. During my days in the university, I normally dress neat and good as well. And I have a lot of friends who always ask about how do I get what I wear and all that. So after my youth service, I was looking for government job, white collar job here and there, nowhere. So I have to go back to this. I have to start with this. I served in 2007, where I looked for a job for like 3-4 years before I have to come to my senses. I have to go and perfect my skills on this. When I started, it was difficult for me. I was like doing a kind of what we call corporate hawking, going to offices, telling people this is what I can do and what I cannot do. Fair enough, some people believe in me, some give me a job and all that. So at the time, I have to settle down in one place instead of traveling around the whole country looking for a job. Although I was born and brought up in Aba. So being brought up in Aba also gave me a lot of leverage about this job because normally we are good with it. So I have to settle down in Abuja and all that. Since then, we are moving forward. I've been growing from strength to strength, improving every day, and also employing a lot of hands. Now I have about 10 people working with me. But initially it was difficult. But now we are still growing. We are still looking for opportunity to expand. And we also have bigger vision to overtake Nigeria fashion industry. This is who St. John Paul Culture is. About getting designs and sketches, it's just like an inspiration. Sometimes there are things you see on the road, you'll be inspired by that. Sometimes weather, sometimes nature. There are things you see that will inspire you. You don't just make clothes. And secondly too, there's this popular saying that if you want to know how to do things, look at what others are doing too. That's also part of inspiration because you can see a work from a fashion designer. Maybe you can see how you can exploit that work and do it differently and become better on that. But sketching designs, they normally come by inspiration, sometimes color, and sometimes it's by fabrics. There are some fabrics you will see. What you will do with the fabrics will come in your mind. And secondly, depend on the clients you are dealing with too. Some clients want it simple, while some clients want it loud. So you have to find a way to balance the whole thing. So naturally, finding designs and it comes by inspiration and studying too. You have to study it too to know how to become a good drawer. You know, Nigeria fashion industry has not grown like that of Europe. If it's in Europe, sketchers are well paid. There are so many aspects about fashion industry. There are people who sketch. That is their work. They are the designers. They sketch what you are going to do, and they are well paid. Unlike here in Africa, whereby the owner of a company is the sketcher, he is the organizer, and he is the company itself. So we have now grown to the aspect of paying people who draw sketch for you. But you see, sometimes you tap from what you see others is doing. People have their own work, the way they pattern their own work. So here we don't normally pay people to sketch for us. We do it ourselves. But I believe the way we are growing, time will come whereby we'll have labors. We employ people who are just for sketching, not like people who sew, who will sketch, will now discuss about it, how we are going to blend it. But for now, we do those things ourselves. The Nigeria fashion industry is growing, unlike before, good and fine. These days, everybody now patronizes made in Nigerian wear, unlike in the past. Now, even the white people, the Europeans, even friends who live abroad, they call. We have contacts in America, Canada, South Africa, even UK and Japan too. People will sew for. Even now, this summer now, this period now, we are doing clothes for a lot of people. Nigeria fashion industry is growing every day. We are growing. And it's another industry that in the next 10 years that will create a lot of employment for our teeming youth, because there is so much money in fashion. So gradually, Nigeria fashion industry is growing, but with time, it will come apart. It will come apart with our international counterparts, our foreign people like in Paris and all that. We are having a very good fashion shows here. If you look at Lagos, what they do, runway Lagos, you see NTA runway, and it's growing every day. So we are coming. Nigeria fashion industry is coming up. With experience about the trade fair, some upcoming fashion designer in Nigeria, maybe if you ask me with experience, some of them may not prefer to go for trade fairs, because with experiences, majority of them complain after going for trade fairs, they don't say anything. And again, secondly, government don't promote much about this, although they are trying these days, because in the last dispensation, the former administration brought a lot of changes to that. He brought a lot of things to help entrepreneur, like through You Win, and this present administration is also doing a lot too, with Big Potter and Empower too. Trade fair, for me, have not been, I won't say it has been favorable to me. For me, I prefer going for runway. I have had a lot of experiences for runway and all that. It gives you a lot of exposure. You meet your colleagues who are ahead of you, who you are ahead of, you can interact with. But in trade fair, you have to be forcing people to come to your line to come and see what you are doing. And you won't meet some of your colleagues. And you know, in this industry, it's just like you have to mingle with your colleagues. You have to learn together. You have to see new things. It's when you go to runway, you will see what is actually in vogue and what is trending. For SJP to be known, we have to start from SJP itself. We have to create a niche for ourselves. We have to have our brand to be different, so that when you see our work, people will say this is SJP. But for government to promote SJP, What we need to know what we have to do for SJP company to grow is by government getting involved. Not only SJP, we have a lot of good fashion designers in this country that want to expand. We are finding it difficult in exchange, how we get our fabrics is a problem. Exchange, foreign exchange, getting foreign exchange for our work. Government can also give us some little, how will I say it, a cut in export rates, because we pay higher to export some of our products. I remember last time I said something to UK, I spent a lot of things. Government have to give a kind of a leverage or to people like us, to entrepreneurs, just to protect this little infant industry. So what we need is government have to make environment enabling, improving powers. Understand? We have to have constant power, because without power we cannot produce much. So once we have enabling environment, constant power, and reduction in foreign exchange, especially for entrepreneur, if you want to do something like exporting, government have to give us a kind of a waiver in some aspects. It will help to boost the entrepreneurship and the fashion industry, especially the upcoming ones industry. It will help, and if once government do all those things, everything will fall into place. So what I have to say to upcoming fashion designers is this: it's never easy. Sometimes it's frustrating, but you have to be ready and able to walk your talk. You have to know your brand. You have to be good in what you are doing. You have to be persistent. You have to be the best. Let money not be the chief goal, but becoming perfect and better, let it be the chief goal. Because once you are better, wherever you are, people will find you. So you have to improve yourself in getting better in what you are doing. Once you are good, you are good. People will find you wherever you are. But you have to work in becoming good. Not working in becoming to having the money first, no. But once you are good, money will come. Just be patient. Your time will come. Keep learning, because we learn. If you look at this place, I have a lot of books that I read. I read a lot of books in this fashion industry. I also meet people who are higher than me. We have a lot of people who we see as role model. Like in Lagos, I've been privileged to meet Moody, who is in Anthony in Lagos. He's a very good fashion designer, and his brand is higher and good too. I have also met Vodi here too. You have to be meeting people who you look up to. They will direct you. They will tell you one or two things. You have to focus on that. But just being good, keep getting better, keep believing in God. One day you will have your breakthrough. But bear this in mind, it's never easy. But as for money, there is so much money in fashion. If only you are good. With patience, with time, your time will come. This is just my advice.
This is how we wrap it up today on Export Digest. We thank you for joining us. You can watch this particular episode and others before it on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/ExportDigest. Do send in your comments, observations, and contributions to our different channels of communication now showing on your screen.
Hello, I'm Denise.
My name is Yinka Titiloye. I'm a farmer. Welcome to the Itagro Model Farm.
I'm Craig Waters from Oklahoma State University.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
Watch Export Digest.
Remember, you can advertise your products and services on Export Digest. All you need to do is contact us and see us grow your business with you. Join us next week on Export Digest. I am Mayoku Apoterabo. God bless you and God bless Nigeria.